Man.
Here she comes, a woman who really has stamped her authority on the women's game in recent times, a rise to the top that has seen her make finals. And of course, in one of those recent finals, she came up against the person who's about to make the same walk. And here she comes. It's Xia time.
From China, Sun Yingsha.
The shark. The fans, all of the noise and color that you get when the best player in the world comes out to show what she's got. We know what she's got, we know the titles she's won, and we know her ability to win WTT Champions events. But we also know about the quality of her opponent and the abilities she has when it comes to pushing the best in the world. We'll have a little look at their head-to-head and just tell you the tale of the table is one that actually sees a pretty comprehensive 3-0 record for Xia at the moment. The most recent WTT meeting there, 4-1 in the Singapore Smash final. Before that, they met in the China Smash 2024 and again in Singapore as early as 2022. But remember, at just 21, KUAI Man is still a rising star. Tadanori Chiaki has stepped in and will be sitting in the chair for this one. Commentator, interviewer, all-round table tennis guru Fraser Riley has made his way back to our booth right now. Okay, so we've seen two Chinese women do battle. What excites you about this matchup now as we wait for the coin toss, and then you can give me all of your thoughts ahead of this matchup.
We've got a young star here, KUAI Man. Someone who, as you said, John, is a real rising star. Someone who will be challenging the throne on which Sun Yingsha sits. This is really, really interesting.
And you'll have seen in the background there, Sun Yingsha is winning the toss there. Yeah, it's a challenge. Obviously, it's a tough challenge because in the head-to-head record, if actually you extend it beyond WTT, it's actually 4-0 in favor of Xia. Their most recent meeting at the Men and Women's World Cup in Macau here. That was not a happy memory for KUAI Man. 4-0, the result on the day there. But what have you made of her recently, the lefty? Her form, her maturity?
I think that she's exactly where she needs to be. I think she's an old head on young shoulders. She's a very dynamic, silky and smooth left-hander player with incredible fundamentals. And she's had two really, really impressive wins there over two long-term concerns. Mima-chan, Mima Ito, who she just beat at the Women's World Cup in the semi-final stage 4-3 there, and Satsuki Odo. That was really, really impressive against the champions Montpellier winner.
That was a fantastic performance. As far as Sun Yingsha is concerned, she might be the one who wins more than anybody else. But we have seen in recent events signs of frailty. Beaten in the final in Yokohama, of course shocked, and we saw that happening in Las Vegas. Here, the young Welsh player, Anna Hersey, gave her a tough opening round encounter. Bernadette Stosh did likewise, and even Adriana Diaz as well, taking games off Xia. So she's not totally indomitable here. Let's have a little look at that meeting I mentioned earlier on. Back towards the beginning of this year, Singapore Smash 2025, and despite an excellent run throughout this event for KUAI Man, it came to an end against Xia, who won it 4-1 in the final, and just reminded her younger rival who was who.
Yeah, you might have beaten one man you, but you're not beating me. You need a little bit more left in the locker to do that, said Sun Yingsha. And there she was at the tippy top of the podium once again there in Singapore, John.
She, if she's to progress through here, might find herself yet again in a final coming up against her doubles partner, Wong Man Yu. But let's have a quick check-in at worldtabletennis.com and see how the voting's going. 79%.
First game, quiet to serve, level.
popular first point, as you can tell from the screams here in this arena in support of Sun Yingsha. How nonchalant was that?
The backhand is so springy, so compact. She uses a lot of body in that backhand. It's amazing. I was watching her against Diaz, a very, very good friend and English teacher from Puerto Rico in the last match. And Sun's backhand was tremendous. Strawberry there, that's crazy. That was barely attackable. How has she played with full power?
And she found the paint. See the look on KUAI Man's face.
That sent a
Could
shiver.
be a long day, this, for her.
That sent a shiver down her spine, that jump.
Oh, whoa. She's won 3 points here, and she hasn't just won them. She's made statements with every single one. What a start.
In terms of scar power, it might as well be 6-0.
If you're 21-year-old KUAI Man, you might be forgiven for thinking, yeah, I can catch her cold here. She might take a while to warm up. And then this happens.
This is a statement start from Sun Yingsha. And these incredible points have been met with absolutely no reaction. Stone cold out here in the Infinity Arena.
But there is what she craved. She's on the board. She's got something to show for her efforts here. Remember, Sun Yingsha is already a two-time WTT Champions Macao winner. She took it home in 2022 and 2024. Our reigning champion.
And no one's won more editions than her. No one's won more Champions events or smashes than her. No one's won more WTT Series titles than her. She's won 16. And remember, she's only ever played, say, one contender, a couple of star contenders. She only really shows up now for the champions and smashers.
There's another one, another statement. Actually, whatever happens for KUAI Man here, it's already been a great event because this is her personal best in WTT Champions. It's her first semi-final. So she's still somebody who's putting her career portfolio together.
Yeah, she was beaten, surprisingly, 4-0 in Incheon by Miwa Haramoto and by Shi Sun Yao convincingly in Yokohama. So this will feel good if you're KUAI Man.
But if you put yourself up against the best, you can expect the best to really deliver something like this. A superb showing by Shasha so far.
Shasha, at 24 years of age, has already got to a level where she's seemingly unaffected by spin variation at times, even from a player like KUAI Man, one of the spinniest. So you've really got to try and suffocate her for time. KUAI Man naturally isn't that much of a power player, so that's why I think Sun Yingsha has never lost to her before.
All of those players, and we've seen a couple of non-Asian players take a point off her, game off her rather, this week. What have they done? What have they brought against Shasha?
They all bring something a little bit different. So you've got Soch, the Trixie Pixie, very, very unique in the serve-receive game. You've got Adriana Diaz, who is one of the best shot makers and most unpredictable players with the strawberries, the punches and whatnot. So that's why they managed to trouble Shasha slightly.
But she's just got all the answers.
Yeah.
She's so quickly into position, which then affords her the luxury of being able to catch her opponent out.
She knows KUAI Man's game just like the back of her own bat.
Nicely put. 8 game points in the first.
3-10.
And it's again going to be a challenge of this young woman's mentality, her mental strength. She surrenders the first 11-3 to the world #1, who has come out here, I should say, absolutely all guns blazing against her younger opponent, gaining that psychological dominance right from the outset as she takes the first game and then takes a seat, thinking about what comes next. 11-3 in the first. Sun Yingsha continues to astonish us with the quality of her play. She's come out here against a fast rising star of the game, and it's almost as if she said, I'm going to take this to another level from the start. 3 or 4 blazing points.
Sun to serve. Level.
How does she approach the start of the second with 1 game already in her pocket?
She's a woman of a few talents, Sun Yingsha, but what she's best at is destroying people at table tennis and filling stadiums while she does it. You know, I was just looking into her eyes there on some of the slow-mo replays. Nothingness.
The shark.
The shark. She smells blood and goes for the kill. Look at that for a push.
That's it. So there's the zippy, rasping drive. Then there's this, just as deadly and dangerous. And we've seen a couple of those that have completely flummoxed KUAI Man.
You know you're up against someone special when it's an uphill battle from 0-0. You know, the scoreboard pressure is irrelevant, almost. It's just the stature of Sun Yingsha.
The quality of the points she's winning.
Everything. There's just a little bit of extra quality on every single ball.
This is turning into a problem now for KUAI Man, because she must be bewildered by this. 13 of 16 points have gone to Xia. And at times, KUAI Man's struggling to lay bat on ball.
Yeah, she's just been left here to feed off the scraps. It's just been authoritative from Sun Yingsha. She's taking that captainess role.
4-1.
But credit to her, you don't get to where she's got to at this relatively tender age without having something about you, a bit of spirit and a lot of quality. And there she matched her opponent.
Well, that's absolutely right, John. KUAI Man is an incredible anticipator. She's very well balanced, and she can so often play unparalleled parallels, even when she's not best placed. But, you know, Sun Yingsha's bringing her in, taking her out. It's just smooth, old sailing in this second game again, just like the first.
Fraser, how does she do this? This is a great ball by KUAI Man, deep into the corner, and look at what came back.
That's what I mean. As cavalier as you like, she's seen it all before.
I was just reminded then, just looking at Xia, of what an incredible athlete she is. If you haven't had a chance to do so, get online and have a little look at some training stuff. Some of the training regimes she goes through are mind-blowing.
Brutal.
In terms of revealing just how incredible an athlete she is. And you see it manifested in some of these shots, which she makes look simple. 7-1 already, 1 game up. This is imperious.
You know,
it's all coming so deep into the table for KUAI Man, and she's just beleaguered.
you look at the way that the points are won, and you look at the scoreboard, and you think, goodness me, there's acres between them. There's not. It's just that Sun Yingsha is a lot better at the little things. That's all it is. They're both just as good at the complex things. They can both play the inside outs, the hooks. They can both play the surprise factor shots, the showcase stuff. But, you know, Sun Yingsha just has those basics, those fundamentals nailed. And that's why KUAI Man is under constant pressure, even when she serves. And what Sun is very, very good at and clever at is that when there's a lot of pace on the ball, she's asking herself, in the rally, why does my opponent feel so comfortable? And she's so good at actually slowing down the game. She's so good at knowing when not to attack, which shows how mature she is as the world's best attacker.
Clever. She's going to have to do that one. The ball challenge, that one. She's going to have to mix it up, do whatever it takes here to unsettle Xia. And, of course, the minute she does lose a couple of points, listen to that crowd. They got her back.
Been interesting recently, Cho Yika's position in the Chinese team. He's been coaching KUAI Man now, as well as Sun Yingsha, who was his main player. It's been a bit of a talking point in the women's game. So, you know, I thought that could psychologically lead to something quite interesting. going forward.
Could yet happen still. Xia now serving at something like 85% success rate. 9-4, another serve to come. You know, if you mentally rewind over what we've seen so far in this match, Fraser, KUAI Man's tried to hold that table as we look across to the coach you were talking about. But Xiaxia's saying, no, you don't do that. And she's just been firing it into her opponent.
Don't give me that.
The roar from the fans tells you all you need to know, because even though KUAI Man tried to fight fire with fire and go toe-to-toe there, there was a familiar outcome.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
The depth of that shot, the length she finds. That's what's undone KUAI Man more than anything here in these two whirlwind games that have gone the way of the world #1. She sits down, she sips, and she's won 11-3, 11-4. At the moment, she's racing towards the final. We sometimes run out of things to say about Sun Yingsha. Now, if we look at her specifically, purely through the lens of WTT action, she's second in terms of career wins in the WTT to Miwa Harimoto, the young Tyro who's played her whole career really in WTT table tennis. For Sun Yingsha, of course, she's just carried her brilliance over into this wonderful new realm for international table tennis and already has 118 career wins to her name. She's on her way, by the looks of things, to career win number 119, unless KUAI Man can do something absolutely improbable, I would say, at this stage, against Xia, who must be somewhere near the best of her game.
She's improving all the time, and that's frightening when you think she's already a two-time world champion and two-time Olympic finalist.
No flash, please.
Who's going to stand in her way?
Level.
Well, KUAI Man, right up there on the list of potentials. She's still got a lot to learn here.
Level.
I think you got to think about the personality of the players as well. Sun Yingsha strikes me as a little bit of a rock star. KUAI Man's someone who's quite impassive, softly spoken, a bit shy.
But there's a bit of steel in there, you know. We've seen this when she plays in doubles with Lin Shidong. Obviously, she's far more deferential. She takes a back seat, but that little pivot and shot down the line told you there's a bit of fire.
I want to see more of that from her. She tried to bring the heat again there, taking the ball right at the peak of the bounce, but Sun Yingsha's wherewithal from that distance, incredible how she abbreviates that forehand again and strolls back to the table like nothing happened. Oh, she even gets the edge back. Are you kidding me? Matrix-like from Sun Yingsha. Don't know if you can catch this one, John, on this ball here. Watch this. Caught the edge of the table.
Spoke about her athleticism. How about that lower back? How about the position? You're right, Matrix-like in adjusting to that.
Can't teach that really, can you?
No.
It's not like even the Chinese coaches can train the Chinese players against edges. The Chinese coaches are great, but they're not that accurate on the multi-ball.
You probably need a Shaolin monk for that, I'd imagine.
Well, I think Merlin is close to that. A real sensei of the sport, Merlin.
Oof, that wasn't far away. What's really, really good to see from KUAI Man here is she's decided, I'm not going to go down without a fight here, and fight is what this game has been about so far from her. Oh.
3-all.
Them's the breaks, I guess.
Exceptional pickup there off the half long. And just to add to the intimidation factor, we've not heard any kind of vocalization from the world champion yet.
Not yet. I was impressed by the way she made that ground up to the forehand there to get around to the right.
Decent enough receive from KUAI Man.
And there was nothing wrong with that receive. In fact, it was outstanding.
She's trying to get her a bit further back from the table and trying to play most into the forehand and middle. And that seems to be working better here for KUAI Man, who will probably better both previous games in this one, in terms of the number of points won.
But she needs to do so much more than just better. A really scanty showing in terms of points in the first two, and she seems to be doing that. Really has brought the heat against Xia now. Great to see this from the fast-maturing 21-year-old.
Making it a guessing game with the serve. A dagger there, straight into the middle. And then stretching Xia after Sun came into play, backhand flick from middle. Nice combos here, John.
And remember, she's not being coached in-game here. She's come up with something here, KUAI Man.
Yeah, showing a bit of nous.
Net. 4-6.
Oh. The change of approach there from Xia. Started right away with the serve.
5-6.
And there, just wrong footing her opponent.
Yeah, fading that last one down the line slightly there. Good defense from KUAI Man, not lobbing, keeping pressure on her time-wise with some fishes, some blocks as well there. Nice rally. Whoa, that backhand down the line came so deep. It really, really ruffled KUAI Man's feathers. She acknowledges that.
She must have thought, though, that her receive was going to set her up to be the aggressor in this exchange. Must have done. She leapt in only to see the ball come fizzing back at her. This is great. Best action we've seen in this match so far from these two. Largely down to the aggressive intent from KUAI Man.
Oh, that's a tough old pill to swallow, that one. As if she needs it.
You know, she's so good, Xia. She almost apologized before that hit the edge of the table.
Set. 6-7.
And for that backhand again, though, Sun Yingsha, but not much backlift. Didn't quite get enough spring through the backhand there to contact the ball as required. KUAI Man with a fairly deadening backhand there. Got to focus on where your opponent has contacted the ball on their bat. Ooh.
7-8.
Sweeps that one through. Swoops in.
She's jumped in a couple of times on that serve, hasn't she? This time it doesn't come back.
You've got to be so aggressive off that half long. It's a joke how good these pros are off of it. It's a potentially bat-breaking, hand-injuring situation.
And she gets away with that one. But again, because she attacked on receive. Been a clear game plan here. Well, I mean,
it was an aggressive push.
It was a positive push, shall we say, yeah.
You can use the push in an attacking way. It's not considered that, but
yeah,
if you're using something aggressively, you're attacking your opponent in terms of putting pressure on them.
Yeah, let's just say purposeful.
Yep. Oh, me like what me see. What about that, Sun Yingsha? Stitching her, stretching her, stretching her. That's a perfect combination, isn't it, John?
And the placement of the ultimate winner.
Tantalizing.
But KUAI Man continues to bring the heat, force the issue.
Trying to give her the hurry up with the flick there, Sun.
And as a result, well done, KUAI Man. You've now got a chance to win a game against Xia. And how unlikely would that have seemed over the course of the first 2 games of this match?
Well done indeed.
11-8.
That is
Game to KUAI.
a portrait of a high-quality table tennis player who is maturing in front of our very eyes here. There are many players out there who would have been blown away, dismissed in straight games by Sun Yingsha here. But despite the chastening experience of the first 2 games, KUAI Man has got enough about her in game 3 to come out and say, no, I'm going to impact this, and she has. It's now 2-1. Mandy's on the move. KUAI Man, English name Mandy, I should spell out for those of you wondering what I'm talking about. Plus 93 in terms of a movement over the past 12 months in terms of those we have been seeing in action here in Macau this week. That's up to a world ranking of 4, and we have just seen a game which has demonstrated why she is a young athlete who is going places. Fraser, how impressive was that fight back from the number 4 seed?
Exactly what the doctor ordered, and she showed there her minerals. She showed that she's got something about her character which really can bring that alpha authoritative play. And that's sometimes what you're wondering when you watch a player like KUAI Man, when you're watching a player like Tong Tong, when you're watching a player like Chin Yi. Sometimes you're wondering, do they have that fire in their belly? How much of the desire is there? Well, look at that. It spoke for itself there from KUAI Man.
But now to the next question. What happens when you poke the shark? Because Xia will have said, okay, you're going to come at me, are you? Well, she'll have formulated a plan.
You better make sure you poke her in the eyes, otherwise she'll be able to probably see her way through. Looking at that, well, the movers and shakers list as well. Special mentions to Chen Yi, Hannah Goddard, because they have really, really challenged Sun Yingsha recently.
Yeah, some talent around. Anna Hersey, we saw on that list as well, the young Welsh woman. She's, as recently as this week, given Xia a bit of a hurry up at times.
Yeah, making a champion's debut. Great performance. 1-2. Well, more specifically, in answer to your question, John, usually you're prodding the bee's nest, aren't you?
Yeah.
Xia will swarm back after losing that game.
It's great news for the neutrals. There aren't that many in this venue, but for the neutrals and those of you watching, it means that this match is now elevated to a really, really high level.
We're going to have to see Xia adapt. We're going to have to see a new layer in her game, and that's exactly what you want to see. Yeah. You don't want to really see her cruise through. You want to see as many elements to her game as possible so that you learn more.
Yeah, this could have been almost done by now if KUAI Man didn't have what you were talking about.
She didn't have that in the final of the World Cup here in Macau recently, so an improvement there.
2-3.
Listen to that. Xia's legions of support are now realizing that it's not going all their hero's way, their star's way.
Maybe KUAI Man took a little bit of encouragement from some of the foreign players and what they managed to do against Sun Yingsha at this event.
Yeah, it just took her a while to impose it in this match. Maybe Xia just didn't let her because she started off like a train in this one. The only question now, I suppose, for KUAI Man is, does she maintain this aggressive approach? Presumably the answer is yes.
Yeah.
But then you have to say, can she? Is it possible?
I think it's possible, but we haven't ever seen it from her. Could today be uncharted territory? A new day. Oh, exceptional recovery again from Sun Yingsha. KUAI Man very divisive and selective with her placement changes. How
So
is she?
good.
Look at that. Look at Sun Yingsha. She's still and tense in exactly the right areas, and she's loose in exactly the right areas.
But even in losing that, she was attempting an ambitious backhand down the line there. So again, the idea is there from KUAI Man whenever possible.
I love saying this quote, but to take no risk is the biggest risk you can take. You've got to take the game to your opponent. You've got to really win. You can't play not to lose.
You know what you said about poking that bee's nest, sharp bear, whatever you want to say. I think we're seeing some stinging replies here from Shasha.
Oh!
5-4.
Where did that go?
That is scrumptious from KUAI Man.
Whoa, out wide. Around the table.
That's delightful.
So that's the best shot we've seen from her.
That's the best
so
shot we've
far.
seen from either one of them. Seriously, that was something else, John. Just when you thought that she'd been stretched too far, that's what I mean. Remember what I said earlier about how good she is at playing those lines, playing those parallels?
Yeah.
Even when she's at full stretch. You know, when you're usually full stretch, your muscles tense and it's harder to face spin and redirect. She can do it. She can do it, KUAI Man.
Amazing skill.
We're seeing some real finesse here from KUAI Man.
We are, but we're also seeing what makes this woman so good, so solid, so unbeatable at times. It's just coming back time and time again. And not passively either. It's a 3-point game now, so she's under the cosh a little bit again, KUAI Man.
8-4.
Shasha's just thinking to herself, okay, you can lace one down the line, but I've got a few shots as well.
Yeah, put that one down the line.
It's a 4-point game she's serving now, and she's 8-4 up, so after the disruption of the last game, she'll be looking now to just say, okay, let's get back to where we were.
Oh, look at that.
9-4.
Like trying to lift a brick. Identical service toss. No clue whatsoever. Not showing where she's going. Right into the crossover. Beautiful serve.
7 of the last 8 points have gone to Shasha. There's another! That was stinging, venomous. And one that lands her with 6 game points.
Merciless.
Yeah. Ying the Merciless. Incredible.
Great feeling.
11-4.
And that's the game, and that's 11-4, and that's 3-1. A normal service you might feel if you're a Shasha fan is resumed. She's risen to the challenge, and then some, and now she's on the brink. Another game required to book a place in the final.
It's easy to think about the threats. It's easy to think about who can challenge the throne. Shasha playing with such freedom, even though the crown is heavy as the world #1 from China. I think it's better if you just accept the fact that she is the best player in the world right now. 3-1 to the world champion. Next up, we have Zhang Wu-Jin against Wang Chu-Chin in the first of our 2 men's singles semi-finals. Zhang Wu-Jin has beaten Wang Chu-Chin before, but the world champion is a certain favourite going into that, albeit as the last Chinese player here in the men's singles. So a bit of pressure there on Dato.
And of course, that's the beginning of the men's singles semi-finals. A very different dynamic in the men's singles draw. It's been all the Chinese women in the women's singles semi-finals. And in this, the second of them. Remember, these players vying for an encounter with Wang Manyu in the women's singles final this evening. It's KUAI Man who, despite her fight back in the third game, is now staring at the possibility that Xia could complete this job in this game. She leads 3-1. Again, just the same area. It's been that area that's been a problem once or twice in this match. But Tadanori Chiaki's on the job.
Left 1.
Well, it would have to be something out of this world, really, from KUAI Man if she is to even live to see another game here at the WTT Champions Macao 2025. Xia looks to have taken control.
1, 2.
Well, would you look at that? Sun Yingsha surely thought she had her dead and buried with that forehand, but what a get, what a read there. As Sun sticks out her tongue. Incredible shot tolerance here from KUAI Man. That's another one right there that the Sun Yingsha fans were beginning to get excited about. Regardless of what happens here, the Chinese coaches will be happy with KUAI Man's performance. They won't be surprised. They know how capable she is. At the end of the day, she is number 4 in the world right now, the 21-year-old. But I think there's still unfinished business with Xia Sunyao, someone who hasn't featured here at the WTT Champions Macao.
4-3.
New ground for KUAI Man at a WTT Champions event. But the player who beats her in the Singapore Smash final standing in her way here as the momentum swings. 12 of the last 16 to the top seed. Five WTT senior titles to KUAI Man's name. This would be the biggest of them all. It's a grand occasion here at the 4th edition of the WTT Champions Macao. Of course, we're heading to the China Smash next in this Asia swing, and we are very, very excited to go back to Shogun Park. A look here at her last 3 Champions results. Quarters at every single one of them. So she's done better. Through to the final 4 here. There we go then. The umpire calls time. Players come back to the table here. Our DHS table, which is a joy to play on. Best equipment in the world, of course, in use here.
4-3.
Saw the introduction of the brand new sustainable ball as well at the Europe Smash. That was nice. Adriana Diaz, Sun Yingsha's good friend from Puerto Rico. a real ambassador for climate change. She saw her off 4-1 yesterday. Felt like in 2 of the games that Diaz lost, she had a real chance, but Sun Yingsha able to find that wiggle room. Able to adapt and able to just hold the table as opposed to attacking everything. Fine line, isn't it, between being passive and being controlled, but Sun Yingsha is usually always controlled. Everything has the intent behind it. Nothing really is mindless.
5.
Rare to see her snatch, but there she took on a very, very high difficulty backhand. On 1 foot there, Sun Yingsha. The prospect here of facing Wang Man-yu in the women's singles final later on tonight. At stake. It's looking like we're going to see the final that we expected to see. The world number 1 against the world number 2. Sun Yingsha here, ahead by 2 at the second towel break of this must-win game for KUAI Man. Just goes long or wide there with the backhand, depending on what way you look at it. Guided shot and quite quickly put into a defensive position because of KUAI Man's placement with the backhand. She backs up her services, the 21-year-old. Gliding, KUAI Man. She really does play with elegance, the world number 4. But it's Sun Yingsha's ability to explode, it's her dynamism. Always looming. And there it is, in full swing. The contortion of her waist, that transfer of her weight, at racket speed. Devastating. She's nearly there. All optimism remains guarded, but we heard a little chole there from Sun Yingsha. She's a point away from setting up a clash with Wang Man-yu. She would play the world number 2 for the 27th time if she gets through here.
10-8.
Sun Yingsha defeats KUAI Man, teaching her a trick or two there in that women's singles final. Semi-final, I should say. And we are going to get to see the final that we hoped for, the world number 1 versus the world number 2. That is certainly going to be a treat. Sun Yingsha will meet Wang Man-yu for the 27th time internationally. And we know who's winning that head-to-head. The world number one, of course, who is looking for her 17th WTT Series title. The legendary, the iconic, the beloved Sun Yingsha defeats her understudy, KUAI Man, in that women's singles semi-final. New ground for KUAI Man, but a test too tough today. Another win for Sun Yingsha against KUAI Man in Macau. They met in the World Cup final here.